Hi, I'm Sam, and this is my gender norms project. Hi, I'm Sam, and I'm a junior at James Madison University. I'm a communication studies major, and this semester I took SCOM 342, or Argument and Advocacy. The class required me to write a blog on something I'm passionate about, and then at the end of the semester I had to do an event where I talked to other people about what I advocated on my blog. So I chose gender norms. The following video is basically what my event was. For my project, my friends and I stood on an afternoon in the quad and talked to people about gender norms. We had a trifold board that had a bunch of information on gender norms for people who didn't understand what they were. And we basically asked people who walked up to us to either take a picture with a whiteboard or do a 2-question interview. So the video includes all of the pictures and the interviews that we took on that afternoon. So I think gender norms are problematic because they tell society what a good woman or a good man is. And if someone, one, doesn't identify what a good man or a good woman is, they're considered a bad, whatever gender they describe as. Two, if they don't identify as someone who's in the gender binary, then they're automatically not a good societal person, which is probably problematic. I think that we should probably try to go outside the gender norm because it allows people to show their individuality. If we all prescribe to gender norms, like a woman should be passive, polite, and should be very sexy yet virginal, or a man should be very strong and muscular and non-emotional, then that makes everyone the same, and our society would be really, really boring, because I think the people who are the most interesting are people who we see are outside the norm. So the way I personally go outside gender norms is I just do my thing, and I let other people do their things. I don't judge them for being whoever they are, and I try not to think about stereotypes when I meet somebody and whether or not they fall into those gender stereotypes.
Gender norms are bad because they're very limiting and they prevent people from being who they feel like they truly want to be.
I feel that gender norms are bad because they lead to not much variation when it comes to social norms, and people aren't, it seems that people aren't allowed to deviate.
I guess gender norms are bad because it sets just limitations on what a person can do and have their gender define what they are.
Gender norms are bad because they're restricting. I mean, even when you're being put on a pedestal or told you're great at something, it restricts you from doing something that maybe everyone thinks you would be good at.
I think gender norms are bad because they're very constrictive and binding, and they kind of give you a role that you have to fulfill. And even if you don't feel that way, for masculinity, a boy may want to be empathetic and compassionate and emotional. He can't be that way because as a guy you're told to be super strong and big. And for girls, you have to fill out a certain role too, and they're just constrictive and they should be fluid. You should be whoever you want to be.
That sounds awesome. I'll see you guys.
Alright, so the first question, I feel like gender norms are outdated. I mean, they were created in a time when, honestly, people were a lot less tolerant of the way things are now. So when you see people trying to say, oh, you should, men should only do this, women should only do this, they're kind of in a mindset, that their parents taught them, that their parents taught them, and it's kind of like being shackled to the previous generation, and people should be free to like carve their own path.
I think gender norms are bad because I think it puts everybody in a restrictive box that kind of limits people to think they have to act a certain way or present themselves in a certain way that doesn't reflect who they actually are. And I think it really limits people to be their true self, and because they feel like society tells them that, oh, this is the way a guy's supposed to act, this is the way a girl's supposed to act, this is how they're supposed to feel in a certain situation. And I think that really limits people's, development as a person, emotionally, spiritually, everything.
I think people fall into stereotypes with gender norms, and that can be really harmful and really put people in this cookie-cutter image, which is dangerous for society as a whole. And I think it just pushes these ideals about people that aren't necessarily true. And you can't stand out as an individual when you have these gender norms on people. So I think they're very harmful and dangerous for society as a whole.
Audio Jungle.
I think the disadvantage of gender norms is that they put people in a box, and you're very limited in like what you should and shouldn't do, and you feel very much like you just can't like express yourself properly for a lot of especially I think girls. And so I guess I'm a writer, so I like to write a lot of strong female characters and just break the stereotypes of what a girl's supposed to do or what a guy's supposed to do, and I just like to think outside of the box.
Audio Jungle.
But I defy them when it means that I would be true to myself. Because if I'm just defying it to defy it, then that's not really saying that it's something that's negative. So I only defy the gender norms if they violate who I am.
I don't do many things in my personal life that defy gender norms, but my way of trying to defy them is by being okay with other people's identifications.
I think the mass media plays into all of this, so I think it has to start there, because if you don't see any change through the media, you won't really see it reflected in society, because we are so mediated as a whole today. So I think that's a good place to start, actually.
Audio Jungle.
Coming from me personally, I know I'm not really I'm a guy, yes, like gender-wise, but I'm not necessarily the typical guy you would think of. How all those guys are big, muscly, sports cars. I know none of that. And but I still live my life fine. I have plenty of friends, and all my friends hopefully love me, and it never seems to affect me in a negative way. So, yeah.
I want to defy gender norms and keep my last name when I get married, because I'm really proud of my last name and where I come from and what it means for my family. And I also, at this point in my life, don't want to have children. And I know a lot of people frown upon that, but that's something that I want to focus on my career and getting myself to be the best person that I can be. And right now, I just don't think children are a part of that.
Audio Jungle.
When I was younger, I wasn't really forced to play with dolls or anything, and I kind of just picked up toys that interested me, such as I played with a lot of Legos, and it kind of influenced me later when wanting to build things. But I was kind of shot down and said that you have to like stay in your field, but it didn't really matter. I just kept on playing with Legos.
Growing up, I definitely played more of like the boy sports, or I don't know, I guess growing up with an older brother and sister, I kind of got the best of both of them. So I'm a mix of what boys are like and what girls are like, and I don't know, I just think it's good for everyone to have a little bit of that in him.
I guess I kind of just do what I want to do, and I don't really worry about whether it's masculine or feminine.
I think against gender norms, I try to, the best I can. Try not to feel pressure to dress a certain way. Try not to feel pressure to hide certain emotions or feel like I have to, present myself in an overly physical or manly way. And just not feeling pressured by people around me and what I see them doing, and kind of just being comfortable in my own skin.